Okay, morning guys. So we're going to start today by merging two portraits, two faces together. In Photoshop, you should have two files open. So I've got one picture here, face merge 2. You can see me hovering over the tab for it. And then if I click on the other tab, I've got my other portrait open. So we're going to select face merge pick 2 by clicking on that tab. And then I'm going to select the whole image by pressing Control A. So that will select the whole image. Then Control C will copy it. And then I click on my other tab, Face Merge Pick 1. So this is a picture I want to paste that portrait onto, and press Control D. And there we've got our two portraits together. What you should be able to see now is on the layer palette where I'm hovering the mouse at the moment, we've got two layers now. We can see both portraits at once. The background one we started with, and then that portrait we've just copied over the top. The layer that's active is one which is sort of highlighted in that darker bluer grey. We're going to start now to merge the two pictures together. So step one, I'm going to drop the opacity on the image. So over here in the same area on the layer palette option, I'm going to take the opacity down to about 50% so we can see both pictures at the same time. Okay, then we want to resize the pictures so that they fit together. To do this, we're going to edit free transform or Control T. You should see that puts a box around the whole of the image. If we click on the corner, we can make the image bigger or smaller. I'm going to hold down Shift and drag the corner of the image until I feel like it lines up. And what I'm looking for is to line up the middle of the mouth with the middle of the mouth on the other portrait and the two eyes together. I'm looking at the eye on the right hand side. When I think I've done, I'm just going to zoom in. So pressing Control plus, we'll zoom in and see if that does line up. As it get a little bit closer, I can see that the middle of the mouth doesn't quite line up. I can move the image just by holding the mouse down and then repositioning it. I think I still need to make the portrait a little bit bigger now. So I'm going to Control minus, zoom out again. I'm going to drag from the corner again now. The portrait feels about the right size. And zoom back in. Use my arrow keys to reposition the center of the two mouths together. See, that looks pretty close now. It looks about right. Maybe a little bit bigger. So I'm going to zoom out again and Control Shift again. Sorry, Control T and then hold down Shift to resize again. Okay, zoom back in, Control plus. Reposition the portrait. So the middle of the two mouths line up. And check that the eyes line up. They're pretty close now, so I'm going to stick with that, I think. And then I just press return. And that'll combine the two images together. So we've still got our top layer with our second portrait on and our bottom layer with our original portrait on. I'm going to click on layer 1 now and then reset the opacity to 100%. And you should see the lower image now disappears. Right, what we want to do is subtly blend the two images together. So to do that, I'm just going to Control minus to zoom back out again. So to do that, we're going to add something called a layer mask. So the layer masks are in the same place, the same layer palette, same layer window, and you can see me hovering over a symbol at the moment. It's a rectangle with a circle in the middle of it. If I click that, what you should see happen is like another sheet of paper, a layer appears on top of or next to that layer we've got here. Okay. We're going to start. I'm going to click on the paint bucket tool, so moved over to the left-hand side of the palette now. And there's a tool that looks like a bucket. I'm going to click on that. And I'm going to fill the layer mask, not the layer, with black paint. Now, if the paints are swapped around the other way around, you just click on this little arrow key and it'll toggle between the two colors, white and black, foreground and background color. So I want black in the foreground. I want to make sure I'm on the layer, not the image. So I'm going to click on the image now and you'll see it will fill the image with black. That isn't what we want to do. So I'm just going to undo that. Click on the palette, on the layer mask over here on the right hand side and then redo that. And we should see the portrait disappears. Okay, so that's step one. Put the two portraits together. add a layer mask, fill the layer mask with black paint. Okay, well done if you've got that far so far.